Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, presented by the Business Courier, Cincinnati is a foodie city. What does that mean to the local economy? A local business is helping small businesses start and succeed, and how educating these preschoolers may save us millions of dollars. U.S. Bank Business Watch is next. Good morning. Welcome to U.S. Bank Business Watch. I'm Brian Patrick. On the Business Courier front page, the centerpiece this week, Cincinnati's dining scene. Local restaurants are at a turning point, and it looks like we may be living in a foodie mecca. An influx of locally owned, chef-driven restaurants and some top-shelf national concepts have changed the way we eat when it comes to local dining. David Falk, owner of Boca Restaurant Group, says in general, eating out in the Midwest has improved, but outside of Chicago, there is no equal to Cincinnati. Among his restaurants is Soto, which opened on 6th Street last year.
We have an entire room that specializes just in making handmade pastas. Also, really any dishes that are very indicative of the cuisine of Italy. So that's, to me, really the heart and soul of this entire concept.
In Over the Rhine, downtown, and at the Banks, you'll find diverse restaurants that range from hot dogs at the Senate to four-star dining at Orchids at Palm Court to one of Jeff Ruby's nationally known steakhouses. And the chefs are becoming local celebrities. And this isn't just about good food. As Greater Cincinnati fights to maintain and grow its relevance and reputation, it needs these types of dining establishments to be attractive to people who already live here or who might want to move here. Business Courier reporter Tom Demoropoulos reported this story. He's joining Business Watch producer Kelly Leon here in the studio for more. Tom and Kelly.
Thank you, Brian. Tom, we were sitting here talking about food. We could spend the whole half hour just talking about our favorite restaurants and
Definitely.
all the great food.
It's already making me hungry.
I know. Let's talk, though, about the impact on our local economy. As you say in the article, this is not just about bragging rights. This is not just about good food. This is important for our economy. Why is that?
This is vastly important. One of the things that Cincinnati needs to do as it competes to be a relevant and growing city as it goes forward is it needs to have these great amenities that professionals, young professionals, families are looking for. Great restaurants and great places to go out and have fun are a huge part of that. Companies like Procter & Gamble and Dunham USA are bringing in top talent, and they might be competing with cities like Dallas or Seattle to bring these people here to Cincinnati. We need to compare.
So what started this foodie revolution, and how do we keep it going?
Well, what Cincinnati has done from talking to experts in the field is that we've really latched onto this more casual version of upscale dining. We've got a lot of locally chef-driven restaurants that are making great food, great dishes, and it's not in that atmosphere you used to have it like the Masonette or Pagal's.
Yeah.
It's more of a relaxed, casual atmosphere, and they've really hit that nail on the head.
Yeah, well, that's exciting, and hopefully it will continue to grow. So let's go out and have dinner sometime, and then we can come back on and talk about it.
Sounds good.
All right, Brian, back to you.
Kelly and Tom, thank you. You've made me hungry, too. A local family has started a business to help other businesses succeed. The Krieg family opened the manufactory on Mostella Road in Sharonville earlier this year. The business gives Cincinnati a makerspace, a large facility with the tools needed to create just about anything the mind can dream up.
I think we're part of the renaissance in Cincinnati manufacturing. Since we started this, I didn't realize how many small businesses were out there looking for places to build their products and design them.
Really interesting concept. The manufacturer combines tools that hobbyists might have in their own shops, say like a welding torch, with high-tech tools that might be hard to get or too expensive for an individual to buy. Krieg says the vast majority of their clients are engineers. He calls his family the ultimate do-it-yourselfers, so this business was a natural. Cincinnati Mayor John Cranley and a majority of City Council want real estate developers that receive city funding to hire more minority and women-owned businesses for their projects. The city can't force developers to make those hires, but Cranley and Council want an ordinance drafted that requires developers and the city to come up with a minority inclusion goals that would be part of a memorandum of understanding before funding is released.
This initiative is a long time coming. And this initiative is something not only that we need to do, but it's something that we must do.
The memos would set goals for minority inclusion in construction, professional services, and vendor purchasing. They would ask developers to engage with and support community organizations that positively impact minority communities located near each project. Cincinnati's business and corporate community is being urged to get behind an effort to offer universal preschool throughout the city with a promise it will lead to improved schools, more jobs, a better prepared workforce, and attract people to the area. That is the pitch being made by Strive Partnership Executive Director Greg Landsman. His group works to improve student achievement and will eventually look to a tax increase to put this plan into place.
The fact is that we have jobs that are going unfilled. We don't have the talent that we need, and we're not attracting and retaining talent in the way that we could. And so the preschool promise, quite frankly, is a game changer in that regard. It will help us short-term and long-term build the talent pipeline and the workforce we need to remain competitive and to grow.
Landsman's latest tool is a University of Cincinnati Economics Center study that says each class of students who start preschool at age 3 or 4 will ultimately provide public benefits of $48 to $69 million. The UC study calculated what the public would get back in terms of increased tax revenue and reduced spending on services such as police, prisons, welfare, and the education system. Well, there is more evidence that a well-educated community brings added benefits to a community. LaVon Henry, Senior Regional Officer of the Cincinnati branch of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, said the local market is set up for long-term growth in a big part because our workforce is well-educated.
One thing that supports economic growth for a metropolitan area in the long run are educated citizens, educated employees. And Cincinnati has a greater number of college graduates than on a percentage basis than the United States or other cities in the state of Ohio, exclusive of Columbus.
Henry did say we could see fewer local job gains, however, because of slow population growth. Well, there is no shortage of engineering jobs, according to one local employer. Jeff Rankin is president of Process Plus. He came to Cincinnati in 1977 to work for P&G as an instrument designer. Process Plus focuses on the chemical, pharmaceutical, and food and beverage industries.
There are less and less new engineers, what I would consider new engineers coming out of the colleges, and I think that the demand is going to remain high for engineering services, particularly in the international market, which is where we're trying to expand.
Rankin calls it the war on talent. He says attracting and retaining top talent, regardless of experience level, will continue to be his company's largest challenge. Well, two of Cincinnati's largest law firms are merging. The marriage of Dinsmore and Scholl and Peck, Schaefer and Williams was official yesterday, March 1st. Peck Schaefer will become a division of Dinsmore and will create a finance department and restructure several practice groups. Dinsmore is adding 23 partners and 8 associates. A local Olympian is home now after winning bronze in Sochi. Nick Epper spoke to students at Lawrenceburg High School upon his return home to Southeast Indiana last week. He won the bronze medal for slopestyle. Epper also made a trip out to Perfect North Slopes, where he got his start skiing when he was 5 years old. Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, if you're a Delta frequent flyer member, get ready for some changes. And it may not feel like it outside, but spring and baseball are just weeks away. That means some Reds tickets are now on sale. Here's some stories you might have missed if you're not reading the Business Courier online every day or following us on Twitter and Facebook. Starting in 2015, Delta Airlines will no longer award frequent flyer miles based on the number of miles you fly. Instead, it will be based on how much money you spend with the airline. Low-fare airlines like Southwest and JetBlue already have similar programs. The program will most likely benefit those who achieve medallion flying status and buy those expensive flights. Well, parking is a big issue in Over the Rhine, and 3CDC is suggesting a plan. The idea is for every parking space in Over the Rhine south of Liberty Street to have a parking meter, be designated resident only, or have no parking. The proposal is supported by Mayor Cranley. It would require Cincinnati City Council to tweak its parking ordinances. Right now, the residential parking permits are only allowed in areas where zoning is 100% residential. A majority of Cincinnati City Council supports the city creating a domestic partnership registry, which would make it easier for businesses to offer their benefit packages to same-sex couples. The city already has a registry for its own employees. For a $45 fee, people will be able to register their domestic partnership with the city. 9 other Ohio cities have a similar system. Victims of convicted Ponzi scheme operator Glenn Guillermo have sued Fifth Third Bank, U.S. Bank, and PNC Bank in an effort to get back nearly $500,000 they invested with the former Cincinnati money manager. 5 Guillermo clients say they invested the money by writing checks marked for deposit only to Guillermo's Queen City Investments account, but the checks were deposited into a third party's account instead. Cincinnati Reds single game tickets are now on sale. Play ball. That doesn't include opening day tickets or some big series tickets, but many other home game dates are fair game. A few games expected to be in high demand include Reds Hall of Fame induction weekend. That's August 8th to the 10th. And 6 bobblehead game giveaways. Opening day is just 4 weeks from tomorrow. How cool. Well, in this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360, we're thrilled to have the man who leads U.S. Bank in the Cincinnati market, Mike Prescott, president of the Cincinnati market, joining us now. Mike, it's great to have you with us.
Good morning, buddy.
Always good to see you. We've worked together on a lot of projects, and I appreciate you very much. You have a lot of wisdom. You've been at this for more than 30 years. What advice, what wisdom would you share with us as consumers and as business members?
Well, Brian, what I'd tell you, there's hardly a day goes by that you aren't watching TV or reading the newspaper and read about fraud. So let's start with consumers. Best practice, whether you're using your debit or credit card, save all your receipts, match them up against your statement. I'm a bank president, I don't do it. So here's what I do, because it's just...
I do it.
Oh, good for you. I'm not as good as you. I wish I did, but I do have a system. So here's what I do. You know, most purchases, I know exactly what they are. But when I pump gas, which is a common area where your card can get stolen, or at a restaurant, I always end when I'm pumping gas in a specific 2-digit number after the dollar amount that only means something to me.
How interesting.
And when I do my tip, if I'm in a restaurant, I do the same thing. So when I get my credit card bill or my debit card, I scan it and I immediately know. I've actually caught fraud several times on my own cards. And you should know, all banks monitor this very closely. The other thing I'd tell you, and this is something I'm very passionate about for business customers, if you have a checking account in business at a bank, please talk to your bank or talk to your CFO or your accountant and make sure you put the proper precautions on it. Some buzzwords would be positive pay, and that's where you predetermine what checks can clear, or when checks come to your bank, we will tell you, here's the ones that are coming, and you say, yes, those are okay to clear those. And I would also tell you, probably put some ACH debit blocks on your account. I don't want to get too down in the weeds, but you really should protect your account as a business owner, because you're taking immense risk if you don't.
Well, I just had an experience where my card was not accepted when I went to buy a larger piece of furniture just this week in Washington. And they blocked it. I'm a U.S. Bank customer, and I checked in and they said, yes, it just didn't seem right. And they advised me to sign up for text banking, which will then give you a text almost immediately, I guess, that that's what's going on and you can clear it up. So.
And another best practice is, in case your wallet's ever stolen, put all the credit card 800 numbers into your mobile phone, so you can immediately call all of them immediately and say, hey, I've lost my information if you lost your wallet.
Yeah, that's great information. I want to personally thank you and U.S. Bank and Jamie Smith, the publisher of the Business Courier. I've been given an opportunity to work in Washington, D.C. now, so this will be my last U.S. Bank Business Watch, but working with you and Jamie and the staff here, Kelly, Leon, and everybody here at Local 12 has been such a blessing. I just want to say thank you.
Well, I want to say this to you. On behalf of U.S. Bank and the Courier, we love you, brother, and we're just so proud of you. I'm so honored to be here with, with you on your last show, and we're going to miss you, and best of luck to you.
Well, I've been a long-time U.S. Bank customer ever since I came to Cincinnati. It used to be First National Bank of Cincinnati. Went through a lot of changes, and I've been very, very blessed by U.S. Bank, and I'm going to stay a customer.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
Take care.
Still to come on U.S. Bank Business Watch, putting high school students to work for your company and your community. How DePaul Cristo Rey High School is growing with your help. It is good to have you with us for U.S. Bank Business Watch this morning. In our Business Insight, as many of you know, DePaul Cristo Rey High School combines academic work with corporate work. 4 days a week of classes, 1 day a week at a local business. Not flipping burgers, but doing entry-level clerical duties with one of its corporate partners. Now, the first classes started in 2011, adding 1 class per year. That means it's on the verge of becoming a 4-year high school with freshmen through senior classes. It's now in the midst of signing up students for next year's freshman classes and needs a minimum of 25 new companies to be part of its corporate work-study program for the 2014-2015 school year. Sister Jean Bissett, president of DePaul Cristo Rey, along with Marianne Chimisuro, currently a junior at the school, are joining Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith with more. Jamie?
Thanks, Brian. Sister, thanks for being here today. Marianne, thanks for coming in. I've become a big fan of the school over the last year. Tell us a little bit about the program. I know you're in your 3rd year of students, so how many employers or partners do you have right now?
We have over 70 companies who are participating in our corporate work study program, hiring every single one of our 175 students.
Wow. So your students have no choice. They have to work.
They start working the day school starts of 9th grade.
Okay.
And that program continues all through the 4 years of high school.
Okay. How do you prepare? What do you have to do to these students, say, in that first year to get them ready to go out and not only represent themselves, but represent your school?
Well, think of an 8th grader graduating sometime in May or June from grade school, and then they have until sometime late in August or September to get started. Our students show up at least by August 1st.
Okay.
All of our 9th graders. We do about a 2.5 to 3 week intensive job training program. And then the students spend a day or 2 at their corporate partner, wherever they're going to be working for the year, getting their orientation to work also. So, you know, I mean, how ready can you be to go to work in the 3rd week of the training? But we do some very intentional things to prepare our students to work in a very adult world of professions.
Okay. Now, Marianne, so you're working for the 3rd year now, is that right?
Yes.
Where do you work?
This year I work at the Christ Hospital.
Okay. And what kind of work do you do?
I work in the supply chain office, so I do inventory, I get the different items that they need for cases that come up, so like the different disposable items that they need for each case or surgery that comes up.
How do you think this is preparing you for life after high school?
For me, it is, because I want to be a doctor, and so being in that environment and seeing what goes on and maybe the things that I'll need later on, it's very helpful.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, so since you're beginning your senior year in the fall.
Next year.
This will be your last round of having a big increase of needing employers,
Exactly.
right?
Every year we've brought in about 80 to 90 new students, and when we do that, we need approximately 25 full-time equivalency jobs. Every 4 students shares a full-time job. So this is our next and last big jump.
Right.
We virtually need at least 25 new companies to partner with us. After that, it's more gradual growth.
Okay, excellent. Now, talk a little bit, we talked, obviously you're at Christ. Is it a variety of companies? Is it lean more in one industry, the other? I mean, talk about some of the companies.
We're fairly spread out right now. We have students working in all kinds of financial services. We brought on our first bank yesterday that will hire a student for next year. We're in law firms, we are in hospitals,
construction
companies working in the main offices. We're in manufacturing companies, not on the floor, but every manufacturing company has an office that's running that end of the operation. And then another big area for us are the universities. Our students work at almost all the colleges and universities in the region.
Okay. Well, it's easy to see there's a benefit for the student, there's a benefit for the school. Would you say there's a big benefit for the companies that participate as well?
Well, I don't have to put words in their mouths. Our companies tell us that one person said last week, in fact, this has really boosted morale at his company by having these young people work alongside of his employees. They've sort of upped their game in their social responsibility, but also even in how they talk to one another and how they act in the office. They're role models. They're educators like we are when they bring these students in.
Now, what kind of resources do you have to provide to the employers as far as other than getting the kids there?
We support the students there, but we also provide help to the supervisors who work with Marianne and with her classmates. Not every supervisor knows how to coach a 15 or 16-year-old student. So we help them figure out what the kids can do, what the meaningful work is, what work can our students do that takes that work off the plate of somebody else and frees them up to do perhaps higher level functions around an office or in a hospital.
That's awesome. I was at a breakfast a couple weeks ago with you, hearing several people talk about the program and the passion in some of the voices. And, you know, I had one individual come up to me and say, well, we took a team of 4, and he says, you know, I was kind of scratching my head figuring out, what are we going to have these kids do? And he says, they have amazed me, the way they tackle tasks, the way they take accountability for projects. And he said, I love it. He said, I couldn't imagine a better experience than I have had with these kids in the school.
And you know, we can't tell anybody to say that. That is said only when that's somebody's real
experience. You can't advertise something like that. That's so valuable. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you in med school. I have a son graduating from med school in a few months. It's a great field to be in, and obviously we need doctors in the worst way. So good luck to you. Sister Jean, good luck with your your 4th class.
Thank
you know, so you'll be guys full staff next year.
That's right.
And I hope we get all those volunteers.
We're looking forward to inviting our corporate partners to our first graduation.
Oh, that'll be awesome. I can't wait. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Brian, back to you.
All right, thank you, future Dr. Mary Ann, Sister Jean, and Jamie Smith, the publisher of the Business Courier. It's just been a blessing to me to work with you and with Kelly Leon, our producer, and the great professional staff here at Local 12 for U.S. Bank Business Watch. It's a really good program, and I know you'll stay with U.S. Bank Business Watch. It'll be back next Sunday and every Sunday morning, 6:30, right here on Local 12, 10 a.m. on the CW. For more business news during the week, just visit the Business Courier online. Sign up for our daily emails. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. The address, CincinnatiBusinessCourier.com. For all of us here at U.S. Bank Business Watch, I'm Brian Patrick. Have a great Sunday and a good week.